Hi, this is Jason with Five Letter Comics Collectibles coming at you with another toy comparison. This time we're taking a look at the Star Wars The Force Awakens First Order Stormtrooper compared to the Power of the Force 2 regular Stormtrooper, which is the Imperial Stormtrooper. And kind of take a look and see how they went from the old trilogy to what this will be in this new trilogy, how they changed. So first thing we're going to do is take a closer look at each figure. Alright, so the first thing you're going to notice when you take a look at these two figures is definitely the helmet. They definitely changed the look of the traditional Stormtrooper mask, which is on the right, and made it to the new First Order one. And I really love that. They streamlined it. I mean, these eyes like bleed into the mouth. It just looks fantastic. And with this old one, they kind of have these old regular eyes, and they have like a little like emphasized mouth. And it just looks newer and cleaner looking. I love it. They've also removed the little collar section that kind of bumps and sticks and goes all the way around the outside of the old Stormtrooper, which you can see right there, right here. That little bump is now gone. You can see his mouth right there. And they basically now have this nice looking streamlined Stormtrooper look. I mean, still very similar to the old one. Like when you look at it, I mean, it's definitely, it's an homage to the old one, but it's definitely a newer look, and I love it. Moving on to the armor, same thing. They basically just streamlined the old armor. You can see that, everything is there. He's got the shoulder plate, little part in his arm, his forearm. He's got they still have the coverings on the hand. The leg, same thing. They got basically the same armor plating in the crotch, in the belt. It's just they've updated it and streamlined it. So you don't have these more like emphasized chest plates on there. It's more of a flat look that's got little little lines and little indentations in it, as you can see right here. And it just looks absolutely fantastic. It's almost more unisex. I mean, this as far as this body armor looks, at least on the toy, how they emphasize the pectoral region, this looks more masculine, and now the other one they've streamlined it where you could almost have a female in there, kind of like Captain Phasma as well. The one thing other thing you will notice is that the underparts of the Stormtrooper, like where it shows black, is much more emphasized here. There's little sections of the leg here that right by the knee that actually go up, and it's not focusing. This section right here kind of pops up. It's more of like a little armor that continues with the boot, and this guy doesn't have it. It has more of a low cut part with a separate kneecap part, which is really, really neat. So obviously next we're going to take a look at the guns. The guns are very similar. They just kind of updated it, kind of made it smaller and more streamlined, kind of the whole idea of this new figure. So this guy's got the white on black, which absolutely looks fantastic. I love this new look. I love that they did that. But when you look at these guys side by side, you definitely see that they took a lot from that old weapon. They just kind of made it smaller, streamlined it, added that white to it, so it's not just that black anymore. And I much prefer that than the old one. Now, as far as the toy, this figure has a little section right here where you could actually store the gun on the leg, which the other one couldn't. Just this is an older figure, but they do have basically the same articulation. This guy does not turn at the waist, so this guy has they both have the same articulation, except the Power of the Force one on the right can actually turn at the waist. Moving on to the back, they each still have this little like section that sticks out. This one's just molded in. This one's kind of looks like they glued it on, and you can kind of see everything's the same, even the part that hangs over by the butt. They have the same kind of molding in there, and in the back they've kind of streamlined it so it's nice and flat, and this one has a little box shape, but they still have the same circle and 2 lines sticking on the costume, and we'll kind of show that right here. And it's hard to see with the light, but there's a little circle and 2 lines right here. I don't know if the camera will show it. You can see it right there. But it's on that smooth part of the armor, and then this guy actually has a bumped out section. So they just took this old armor and streamlined it. And here's a real look where you can see that this really strongly emphasized collar, like almost like collar part of the helmet right here, this little ring that goes around. They still kind of have that on the new one. They just made it smaller, so it's still there, but it's not as prominent. So other differences with these figures, because these are from 2 totally different toy lines. We're looking at something that came out in 1995 compared to something that came out in 2015. So some definite time has passed. Now the first thing is the Stormtrooper on the right is the white is yellowing a little bit. It's just because the figure is old. It's been stored in, you know, a storage unit. It's been air conditioned, and it's still, you know, the white has kind of faded at time. Now this figure was never as white as this first Order Stormtrooper by any means. They definitely went for a super clean look with this first Order Stormtrooper, and that's just, you know, the way that all the Stormtroopers seem to be in this whole series. The Snow Trooper, the Flame Trooper, they're just super clean. And I mean, you can obviously see like the difference here. I mean, what a difference as far as the brightness. So final impressions of these two guys. So, you know, the classic Stormtrooper, the one on the right, is just something that, you know, I grew up with. It's been a staple in the Star Wars universe. But I have to say, looking at the first Order Stormtrooper, seeing it in the trailers to the new movie, in the promotional photos, and having this figure here, I have to say that I probably like this better. I love this look to this guy. I love how they streamlined it, made it new, but they definitely kept a lot of the old, and they, you know, they're just so similar when you have them side by side, but you can definitely see the subtle differences in how they tweak the armor and stuff. But really neat. I have to say, you know, I love the First Order one. I think it's better than the old Stormtrooper outfit, and, you know, if I had to choose between these two figures, I mean, I think the one on the left is the much cooler figure. But once again, this has been Jason with Violator Comics Collectibles. Any questions or comments, leave them in the comment section below. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and I'll see you guys next time.